got your
Yes,
fault.
yes, ma'am.
Navneet ma'am, shall we start?
Yeah, of course
Okay,
we can start.
okay,
Yes.
okay. So, yes,
हाँ अनुराधा आप हैं.
good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. I, Anuradha, welcome you all. Day 2 of 1 week workshop on YSA organized by Daulatram College in collaboration with Indraprasth Shakti. Today, we are delighted to have Professor Navneet Manav with us. Professor Navneet Manav, Vice Principal of Dayal Singh College, is an accomplished academician holding MSc from Guru Nanak Dev University, Amritsar, along with MPhil and PhD from Delhi University. In addition to this, ma'am had authored 5 books and published 25 research papers in prestigious international journals. Ma'am had also completed 4 research projects from University of Delhi only. Ma'am had been invited to deliver talk and lecture at various academic forums. Though her teaching, research, and publication, ma'am had administrated a commitment to excellence and passion for higher education. Today, ma'am will deliver a talk about glorious heritage of science. Actually, there is very much about ma'am, but because of this time limitations, हम सारा कुछ नहीं बता सकते. So I request you, ma'am, to share your idea and experience with our students, and please encourage them. Ma'am,
Ji. Thank you so much for this nice introduction. And first of all, I'd like to congratulate the organizers for starting this Yuva Shakti Abhiyan, which is must these days because we are the most population of Yuva, and this Yuva Shakti will lead us to Viksit Bharat, as is the mission of our Prime Minister. So, encouraging the Yuva Shakti, giving them various ideas about the heritage, about everything else, is a very nice idea. And then I'll thank the organizers for inviting me and for giving me this platform to share my views about this glorious heritage of science with the students, because this thing is very close to my heart. And I always feel that I should share whatever I can with dear students always. So, first of all, I'd like to know the audiences from which background and the language you would like to understand, so that I will start. Or, yes, anyone, please.
Yes, girls,
yes,
respond to ma'am.
You have science or humanity students, first of all?
All ma'am, all ma'am.
All. And the language?
ma'am,
Bilingual
maybe,
ma'am.
yes, ma'am, bilingual maybe.
Let it be bilingual then. ठीक है. वैसे भी जब हम हेरिटेज की बात कर रहे हैं तो शायद हमें हिंदी में बात करेंगे तो और भी अच्छा रहेगा. तो बट क्योंकि मैंने स्लाइड्स इंग्लिश में बनी हुई हैं तो आई विल यूज द बाइलिंगुअल लैंग्वेज, राइट? सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद आवर ग्लोरियस हेरिटेज ऑफ साइंस. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, सबसे पहले कि हम जानना क्यों चाहिए, हमें अपनी हेरिटेज के बारे में क्यों जानना चाहिए? Why this is necessity to know about it? Because we are already in advanced stage of science, where we have seen the rocket launchings, we have seen the astronomical advances. अब स्पेस में भी चले गए हैं, हमारे पास बहुत सारी एडवांस टेक्नोलॉजीज भी हैं, फिर भी हमें क्यों चाहिए कि हम पीछे झांकें? पीछे देखना मीन्स कहीं पर अपनी एंसेस्टर्स को झांकना कि उनके पास क्या क्या ऐसी उपलब्धियां थी जो हमें, जिनके ऊपर हमें गर्व महसूस होना चाहिए. किसी भी हेरिटेज, किसी भी कंट्री की एक आइडेंटिटी होती है, तो हमें अपनी आइडेंटिटी पहचानना, अगर हमें अपनी आइडेंटिटी पता होगी तो हम इतने सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंट होंगे कि हम आगे एक्सीड कर जाएंगे. हमारे साथ अनफॉर्चुनेटली आवर हेरिटेज was taken away from Indians, और हम लोगों को शायद कहीं ना कहीं इस मानसिकता का शिकार बनाया गया कि हमारे पास तो ऐसा कुछ था ही नहीं, हमें तो वेस्ट की तरफ ही देखना था, हमें उन्हीं को फॉलो करना था. क्योंकि ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी ने जब हमारे ऊपर इन 1600 व्हेन दे केम टू इंडिया, और जब उन्होंने इंडिया पे अपना स्टार्ट किया स्प्रेड करना, तो उनको अगर किसी भी देश को अगर आपको गुलाम बनाना है, आपको दो चीजें उनसे छीननी पड़ेंगी। एक तो उनकी संस्कृति, दूसरी उनकी एजुकेशन। और शायद ब्रिटिशर्स बहुत वाइज थे इस वे में, मैं कहूंगी कि उन्होंने हमसे ये दोनों छीन लिए। उन्होंने हमारी एजुकेशन सिस्टम को स्पॉइल कर दिया, हमारी गुरु शिष्य परंपरा को खत्म कर दिया, और हमारी संस्कृति में से हमें इतना दूर कर दिया कि हम लोगों में शायद एक हीन भावना आ गई। और कहीं किसी को गुलाम बनाने के लिए पहले उसको इंफीरियर फील कराना बहुत जरूरी होता है। तो वो मानसिकता अभी तक हमारे अंदर इतनी ज्यादा है कि हमें अभी भी लगता है जो इंग्लिश बोलता है वही विद्वान होता है, जो उधर की बात करता है, जो उनकी फिलॉसफी है उसको फॉलो करता है, शायद वही एडवांसमेंट है। और शायद जीने का तरीका जो वो जी रहे हैं वही एक जीने का तरीका है। क्योंकि हमें कभी पीछे झांक के देखा ही नहीं कि असल में जो हम हमारे पास था शायद उनमें से किसी के पास भी नहीं था। तभी तो भारत में सबसे ज्यादा इन्वेडर्स, जितने इन्वेजन हुए हैं, तो यू कैन से अदर इन अदर वर्ड्स के फेवरेट इन्वेसिव प्लेस जिसको इन्वेड करते थे फॉरेनर्स आके, वो इंडिया को करते थे। किसी को लूटने जाते हो तो क्यों लूटने जाते हैं? किसी के पास धन होगा तो ही लूटेंगे ना उसको। किसी के पास कहीं पर भी डकैती होगी, चोरी होगी, कहाँ होगी? तो वहां से ये प्रूफ तो हो ही रहा है कि हमारा जो हेरिटेज था, हमारे पास इतनी ज्यादा एडवांसमेंट थी, इतनी वेल्थ थी, इतनी प्रॉस्पेरिटी थी कि इन्वेडर्स को बार बार आके लूटते थे। और जो भारत को सोने की चिड़िया कहा जाता था वो सिर्फ कहने में ही नहीं था, कहीं पर था, इसीलिए ही बार बार अटैक्स होते थे, बार बार इन्वेजन्स होते थे। और इसी इन्वेजन्स के चलते हुए हमारी हर तरह की संस्कृति, हमारी डॉक्यूमेंटेशन, साइंस के फील्ड में जो हमारी एडवांसमेंट्स थी, आज भी हमारे पास बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं जो हम देखते हैं कि पुराने एंशियंट टाइम में भारत के पास पुष्पक विमान से लेके रॉकेट्स का, स्पेस रॉकेट्स, वो हर तरह की चीजें वहां पर थी। बट क्योंकि हमारे पास डॉक्यूमेंट्री प्रूफ नहीं है तो वर्ल्ड उसको एक्नॉलेज ही नहीं करेगा। और सबसे बड़ी बात तो हमारे अपनी अगली जनरेशन, ये जो युवा शक्ति है, ये भी इस तरह के ओपिनियन रखती है कि आपकी बात सुन के लेंगे हम, पर क्यों माने? इसके पीछे कोई साइंटिफिक बेसिस है, कोई लॉजिक है? ये तो आपका अंधविश्वास है। इस तरह की बातें जब बच्चे करते हैं तो उनके लिए कुछ डॉक्यूमेंट्स, कुछ चीजें ऐसी हैं जो हमारे पास डॉक्यूमेंट्री प्रूफ भी है, जहां पर हम ये कह सकते हैं कुछ चीजों को वर्ल्ड ने भी एक्नॉलेज किया है, लेकिन स्टिल देयर आर सो मच टू डू अबाउट इट, सो मच टू फाइंड अबाउट इट। बट द प्रॉब्लम इज, शायद इस वजह से भी कि 200 साल से ज्यादा तो हम पर 1700 ऑनवर्ड्स तो इन्वेशंस होते रहे हैं। तो आप मान लीजिए कि इतने सालों में हमारे जितनी भी धरोहर थी, धीरे धीरे कई बार नालंदा यूनिवर्सिटी, तक्षशिला यूनिवर्सिटी, वहां पर इतनी सारी बुक्स चलाई गई। तो हमारी जितनी भी डॉक्यूमेंटेशन थी साइंस को लेके, टेक्नोलॉजी के लेके, या हमारे कल्चर को लेके, वो एक तरह से खत्म कर दी गई। और उसके बावजूद हमारी जो एक एजुकेशन, हमारे पास जो ट्रेवल होती थी, नॉलेज नॉलेज ट्रेवल होती थी गुरु शिष्य परंपरा से। हमारी एजुकेशन जो थी वो ऐसी होती थी कि गुरु शिष्य, ये तो शायद आप सब लोग जानते ही होंगे, थोड़ा बहुत आइडिया तो आप लोगों को होगा ही, कि वो जो गुरु शिष्य परंपरा से, गुरु से उनके पूरी क्लास को वो वर्बल नॉलेज जाती थी, और वो आगे आगे ऐसे ही ट्रांसफर होती थी। विद द एडवेंट ऑफ मैक्यूलिन एजुकेशन तो ये परंपरा भी खत्म हो गई। तो धीरे धीरे जो हमारी नॉलेज थी वो हमारे माइंड से लुप्त होने लग गई, और अब हमारे पास बहुत ही बचा खुचा सा कुछ है जिसको हम समेट लें या और आगे उसमें आगे बढ़ें, तो ये हमारे लिए एक बहुत अच्छा कदम होगा। और मेरे इस लेक्चर के बाद अगर आप लोगों को थोड़ा सा भी इंटरेस्ट होगा तो आप इधर उधर ढूंढेंगे, इसको फाइंड आउट करेंगे कि हमारी हेरिटेज इन साइंस एक्चुअल में क्या थी और उसकी क्या जरूरत थी। ये सारा रॉ मटेरियल ले जाके इंडिया से अगर ब्रिटिशर्स इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन कर सकते थे, वहां पर जो इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन 1700s के बाद ब्रिटिश में ने की, वो हमारे ही ज्यादा इंपोर्ट कॉटन का जो था वो इंडिया से ही हुआ था। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विद द थिंग्स वी हैव ऑलरेडी डॉक्यूमेंटेशन विद अस, जिसका हमारे लिए, हमारे पास प्रूफ भी है। उन चीजों को छोड़ते हुए बाकी चीजें तो आज हर जगह पे अगर आप देखोगे तो इन चीजों की एक्नॉलेजमेंट हो रही है, हमारे ट्रेडिशंस की एक्नॉलेजमेंट हो रही है, हमारे फूड हीटिंग हैबिट्स की एक्नॉलेजमेंट एज इंटरमिटेंट फास्टिंग ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड दे आर यूजिंग इट। बट कुछ चीजें लाइक पेटेंट्स, टर्मेरिक पेटेंट अगर आपको पता हो तो, हल्दी जिसको हम हर रोज यूज करते हैं अपने खाने में, और अगर आपको पता हो तो आपके पुराने घरों में सबके पास यही होता था कि कहीं जख्म है तो हल्दी वाला दूध पी लो, हल्दी लगा लो। लेकिन उस हल्दी का पेटेंट भी यूएस ने कर लिया। तो उससे धीरे धीरे, ऐसे ही नीम जैसे हमें पता है कि इट्स अ वेरी गुड पेस्टिसाइड। तो इन सब चीजों के बारे में जानने से के लिए सबसे पहले हमें अपनी हेरिटेज, कल्चरल हेरिटेज, अपनी साइंटिफिक हेरिटेज को एक्नॉलेज करना होगा और पहचानना होगा कि उनकी शायद एडवांसमेंट हमसे भी कहीं ज्यादा थी। जितना आज हम सोच रहे हैं विद ऑल द थिंग्स वी हैव विद अस, द ड्रोन्स, द कैमरास, द सैटेलाइट्स, शायद उनके पास वो उससे भी ज्यादा थी। एंड यू विल वंडर व्हेन यू विल बी reading these slides which I have prepared for you, that India, ancient Indians, the scientists, they were so wise and they had so much of brains. Oh, yes. Let's start with the quotation of Albert Einstein. As you know, he's a well-known scientist of his time who has written about एनर्जी इक्वेशन E is equal to mc square. स्कूल्स में सबने पढ़ी होगी कि एनर्जी को मास में कन्वर्ट करने के लिए थ्योरी ऑफ रिलेटिविटी दी। उस साइंटिस्ट ने लिखा है दैट वी ओ अ लॉट टू द इंडियंस, एंशिएंट इंडियंस, फॉर टीचिंग अस हाउ टू काउंट, without which most modern scientific discoveries would have been impossible. So, Indian science, we have found the proofs of science in the way of sculptures of bronze dancer, in the excavation of Indus Valley civilization. We have explored the surface of the moon in India. The science has traveled to exploring the surface of the moon, and being one of the oldest civilization in the world, there was best steel making techniques. India has teach the world how to count and has contributed in many ways. Still, some of the contributions have been acknowledged. Some are still unknown to us even, as well as, and if they're unknown to us, they are unknown to the world as well. So first of all, starting with mathematical contributions of India, idea of zero. Idea of zero से आपके दिमाग में एक गाना तो आता होगा ना, जब जीरो दिया मेरे भारत ने, दुनिया को तब गिनती आई, तारों की भाषा भारत ने दुनिया को पहले सिखलाई, देश ना दशमलव पाता देता ना दशमलव भारत, तो यूं चांद पे जाना मुश्किल था, धरती और चांद की दूरी का अंदाजा लगाना मुश्किल था। शायद जब भी ये कोई भी नेशनल इवेंट होती है तो जैसे पैट्रियोटिक 15 अगस्त 26 जनवरी, तब ये गीत हर जगह पे बजते हैं, तब आपने सुना ही होगा। और एक्चुअल में ये ट्रूथ है। अगर आप सोचिए मैथ्स जीरो के बिना क्या है? Is addition, subtraction possible without zero? So, basis of mathematics, zero was given by India, the mathematician Aryabhatta. He created symbol zero, and addition, subtractions, and all other multiplication, integrations, systems, writing the numbers in these 10 symbols, they all were given by India. Even infinity, that is, when you divide anything by zero, answer is infinity. And this is recorded in Jain text Anu Yogdava. So it was there much before the Westerns would have thought of. And looking at the decimal system, if you see the numbers 0 to 9, they were invented by India, the most prevalent numbers. So how to express all the numbers in the decimal notation? By giving them absolute value as well as positioning their values, making the calculation easy, and which has helped us practically inventing all the scientific discoveries, distances, and everything is possible because of the decimal. Decimal values has resulted in giving calculations, precise calculations. Now, the binary numbers, all of you know, the computer education, the basic program in computers is based on two numbers, 1 and 0, which are known as, combination of these are known as bits and bytes. And this binary system, number system, was first described by Pingala, the scholar, in his book Chandhastra. So you will be surprised that the computers, which we think is mentioned by word, in system they are based on these binary numbers, which were already recorded in our text. Then the ruler measurements. So how to basically measure the distances? You need rulers. You may have seen rulers at your homes. The similar rulers, although their dimensions were not the same, their divisions were not the same, but they were found at excavations at Harappan sites. They were linear measurements, and these rulers were made up of shells and ivories. Ivory is of elephant tooth. So these were subdivided into minute subdivisions, and this was closely resembling the hasta increments. Like पहले जो measurement थी वो hasta में करते थे. So it was closely resembling those measurements, and the bricks at the excavation sites, जब उनकी खुदाई हुई हड़प्पा मोहनजोदड़ो की, वहां पर जो bricks हैं उनकी जो they were in the shape of cuboids, और उनकी जो ratio थी 3:2:1. That is the similar ratio. So they were so perfect in measurements, and these dimensions, these dimensions on the bricks, they were corresponding to these rulers that were found at the excavation sites. And from those खुदाई की जगह से we could find out that वहां के लोगों का जो हड़प्पन कल्चर था, they were knowing the geometry also. क्योंकि रोड्स वहां पर एक दूसरे को परपेंडिकुलरली कट कर रही थी, राइट एंगल पे रोड्स थी, बिल्डिंग्स की बहुत अच्छे से कंस्ट्रक्शन हुई थी, बहुत वेल प्लान रोड्स थी, वेल प्लान सीवेज सिस्टम थे, वेल प्लान आर्किटेक्चर था. दैट इज अ सेपरेट थिंग, दैट आर्किटेक्चर वाज नोन टू देम, बट उनका ज्योमेट्रिकल शेप्स के बारे में, सर्कुलर, रेक्टेंगुलर, right angled, and squares, they were found there. So that means those, even in the time of Aryas, Vedic period of Aryas, जो यज्ञ करते थे उसके लिए ज्योमेट्रिकल फिगर्स में वो अल्टर्स बनाते थे जहां पर यज्ञ होते थे. So they were well known, geometry was well known to them. Even pi, आप सब जानते हो, radius, the circumference of a circle is equal to 2 pi r. What is the value of pi? That is 3.1416. That value was given by Aryabhatta. That is value of circumference divided by 2r. That is circumference by diameter. Pi was given by Aryabhatta. Even weighing was there. Their scale of ratio of 16 was drilled, and it's found that there were business amongst various civilizations, and the business was based on these weighings, that they were weighing one thing, and in turn they were giving the similar weight of other things. So there were certain rocks and these type of scales were dwelt where they have specific weights. And famous mathematicians like Aryabhatta, Brahmagupta, Bhaskaracharya, Sridharacharya, they had great proficiency in the mathematical skills, and they have larger contributions. Now coming to the physics and chemistry part, first of all, the theory of atom. All of us know that John Dalton, he gave atomic theory. But Cunard, the scientist, our ancient scientist, he devised atomic theory much before John Dalton was born. He said that there is indestructible particle known as Anu. That Anu is the same as our atom these days. He stated that Anu exists in two states. One is at absolute rest and another is at state of motion. And similarly, he also said that two Anus may combine to give the Dvanika and three Anus may combine to give Trianuka. Similar to आजकल जो आप देखते हो diatomic, that is H2O2 molecules, and triatomic molecules like carbon dioxide. So this theory of atomic existing of atom was given by Cunard even before John Dalton was born. Now this expanding further through astronomy, although astronomy was well established in India, world also acknowledges this. Or this thing is being acknowledged by many of us also. ज्योतिष विज्ञान तो आप सब जानते हैं कि भारत में ही शुरू होता है और आज भी भारत में ही है. ये ज्योतिष विज्ञान, that astrology is also based on astronomy, जिसमें हम ये देखते हैं कि प्लैनेट्स की पोजीशन क्या है, नक्षत्र क्या है, स्टार्स की पोजीशन क्या है. तो दैट मीन्स इंडियन एस्ट्रोनॉमी इतनी एडवांस थी कि वहां पर वेदास में इट्स रिटन, इट्स डॉक्यूमेंट्री प्रूफ ऑफ द कि स्टार्स की पोजीशन इस समय ये थी. इवन ल्यूनर इक्लिप्स, सोलर इक्लिप्स, दे आर सो वेल प्रेडिक्टेड इन एडवांस कि आज भी पीपल वंडर दैट हाउ दे आर सो मच, these predictions, they are so true. There is one calendar known as Panchang. Everything that is happening in the astronomical world can be seen from that Panchang. So there is this is the astrology basically in the Vedanta literature was also based on principles of astrology was based on principles of astronomy. And not only astronomy, here also we will see that Earth is having a circular shape, or Earth revolves around itself, Earth revolves around the sun. The German astronomer Copernicus gave this theory. But before that, Indian scientist Aryabhatta told this, that Earth has a circular shape, that it axis around it revolves around its own axis. Even gravitational theory was given by Brahmagupta much before Sir Isaac Newton. This is the same heliocentric theory where we say Earth revolves in the orbit, revolves along its own axis as well as revolves around the sun. So this theory was given by Aryabhatta in a book Aryabhatya much before the world knew about it. So this is Aryabhatya is basically the pinnacle of astronomical knowledge. Even in today's time, it describes properly there that Earth is round, rotates on its axis. Even he made the predictions about solar and lunar eclipses, duration of the day, as well as the distance between the Earth and the Moon. From here, I remember one more thing, that in the Somnath temple, there is a Banstham. And below that Banstham, it's written that Banstham is an arrow that points from the Somnath temple to the South Pole. And it's written in Sanskrit under that arrow. When it was made, that Banstham is still not known to us because we could not find, but yes, it was a very ancient Banstham. In Sanskrit, it's written that from that place to the South Pole, there is no landmass in between. So you will wonder कि उस समय ना सैटेलाइट थे, ना ड्रोन्स थे, कैसे ना विमान थे, कैसे पता चलेगा कि यहाँ से लेके साउथ पोल तक कोई भी लैंड मास नहीं है, एंड इट्स रिटन देयर। और अगर अब आज जाके देखते हैं, वहां से जाके लैंड मास तक एक साउथ पोल तक एक डायरेक्ट लाइन है, और 1 किलोमीटर स्क्वायर मीटर से ज्यादा का कोई भी लैंड मास इन बिटवीन नहीं पाया जाता। एंड मोर ओवर, अगर वहां पर साउथ पोल लिखा हुआ है तो इसका मतलब हमारे एंशियंट इंडियंस को तब ये पता था कि हमारे पास साउथ पोल है। साउथ पोल है तो मतलब ये भी पता ही होगा ना कि नॉर्थ पोल भी है। तो साउथ पोल एंड नॉर्थ पोल वर ऑल्सो नोन टू दैट। सो अर्थ ऑर्बिट, अर्थ revolves around the sun in 365.256362 days. This was found in Surya Siddhanta, that was written between 700 BC to 600 AD. And you know, today what is the modern value? That is 365.25636304 days. Only difference of 1.4 seconds. That was the difference in calculations about the time Earth takes to revolve around the sun. So this was the most accurate estimate in the world, you can say thousands of years ago. Now coming to advances in chemistry. I being a teacher in chemistry, so I must discuss something which is being there in chemistry also. So as all of you know, when you talk about chemistry, we know the metals. We talk about metals also. All of you know metals. And around you, you will see no, you can say whenever you, in any circumstances, you will see one or the other metal around you in one form or another. So metals being an important place, has important place in all the advancements as well as are in daily lives. And metallurgy is the process of extracting those metals from the earth's crust. They are present in the earth's crust in the form of ores, and extracting those metals from the ores is known as metallurgy. Indians were quite proficient in the ancient times in metallurgy. They in the excavation sites, it was found that the bronze statues, the copper utensils, they were found. Even glazed potteries were found. So these things, they indicate that ancient Indians, they have highly developed metallurgy. Steel was made in 500 BC. From 500 BC onwards in India, it was made. And there is evidence of Porus, who has presented Indian steel sword in 326 AD to Alexander. Even all of you may be aware of, although you may not, some of you may not have visited the Qutub Minar, there is a iron pillar in Mehrauli, in Qutub Minar, near Qutub Minar. This iron pillar is it was there built in approximate time is 4th century, and it was not built there. It was transported from somewhere else to that place. But even in these many years, it's free of any rust. It's standing in, it has been exposed to heat and rain, but still it is rustless. And we are still unable to make such type of iron pillars which are rust free. So this type of iron work, this type of technology was there even centuries before we could think of. And the Konark temple, the iron pillars in the Konark temple in Orissa, they are also free from corrosion. And we are not able to make materials free from corrosion here till now. Then coming to wood steel. Wood steel is it's having some patterns over steel. This is a mixture of steel alloy. There are certain patterns. This was written as known as different names: Uku, Hindwani, Sirix, iron, etc. So at the time, this wood steel was used to make Damascus swords. The Damascus swords were known to cleave free falling silk scarf as well as blocks of wood with quite ease, equal ease. They were so proficient, they were having so much cutting edges. So they could cleave those things very easily. So the finest steel of the ancient world. Coming to zinc, smelting of zinc, it's said that how zinc metallurgy, smelting of zinc means taking out zinc from zinc oxides. Zinc was produced in India, and we have first zinc, and we have proof over this also. There was open furnace in Zawar in Tiri Valley of Rajasthan. That is the ancient zinc smelting site. So these type of distillation processes or advanced techniques, they were available with the ancient Indians, that is alchemy. So the distillation of zinc production that goes back to 12th century AD, and it's the important contribution of India to the world of science. Zinc being very important, it's the fourth most abundant metal being used in various things. So its distillation was unknown to other world till they found the Indian sites, and they took the procedure of smelting of zinc from India. And although, because we have no documentary proof of these things, we cannot claim that these things are ours. Vedic peoples, they were aware of how the grains are fermented, fruits are fermented, even leather tanning, dyeing industry. They have colorful cloths at that time also. Gravity was known to them. Universe was made up of atoms. This fact was written by Kannada in 200 BC. And Nagarjun was a well-known scientist. He was a chemist and great metallurgist of the time. We have so many contributions of scientists in the chemical fields. Even there was Acharya Prafulla Ray. He was the first known chemist. And then Indian science and technology continued throughout country's history. We have well-developed agriculture, irrigation canals, water storage systems, artificial lakes were also there. We were having rain harvesting at that time. Even cotton was cultivated in 5000 to 400 BCE. Britishers were not knowing even at that time that cotton is grown in the fields. So these type of advancements were there. Now coming to medical sciences. Medical sciences in the form of Ayurveda, the basic sciences you must be aware of. The first written knowledge of Indian system of medicines, it's available in Atharveda. In Atharveda, it's written about the diseases, cures, and medicines. There are few diseases, common diseases like fever, cough, diarrhea, constipation, dropsy, sores, leprosy, seizures, etc. that is mentioned in Atharveda. Charka authored a text, that is Chark Samhita, which is ancient science of Ayurveda. So that's why Chark is known as father of Indian medicine. He was the first physician to tell us the concepts of digestion, metabolism, and immunity. He has even written this in his book, the Chark Samhita, properly describing all these concepts. He has mentioned some medicinal plants and herbs as well. His work was later on translated into Arabic and Lenin language also. Now coming to surgery, along with medicine, there were surgical advances also. Sushrista, he wrote Sushrista Samhita in 6th century BC. He has written about more than 8 types of surgeries in that book, and he made reference to 121 surgical instruments. And he regarded surgery as the highest division of healing arts and least susceptible to error. He also has written about various operation methods, about bone setting, about cataract removal, and Along with humans, he has discussed about plant preparations, cures, and complex techniques of plastic surgery. At the time, the reconstruction of nose was very well known. That was known as rhinoplasty. To the India, this is the picture of rhinoplasty. That how the nose was reconstructed. A flap from the forehead is taken. It's cut from the sides of the forehead and is wrapped around the nose. Actually, if you have read about some old or you listened about the old stories, you may be knowing that at the time cutting nose was the biggest punishment given to the culprits. So reconstructing those noses, even in the wars, the noses were cut. So to prove their superiority. So these type of plastic surgeries where the nose can be rebuilt. Nose is made up of cartilage, so skin from the forehead, the flap of the skin is cut from the forehead about the same size of the nose, and it's being fixed with the certain type of herbs and medicines. And this type of surgery was done in the ancient times, and even Britishers learned about this surgery from the Indians. It's prescribed in one newspaper known as Gentleman. I had the photo of that paper also with me. That is a proof that Britishers, they learned it from the Indians. Then the cataract surgery was also done at the time. The cataract removal, that you must be knowing that elderlies, they develop cataract in the eyes, which reduces vision. So this was done with the curved needle at the time. That curved needle was known as Jabamukhi Salakha. So this needle will loosen the lens and will push the cataract out of the field of the vision. So these type of surgical instruments were dealt. They were also aware of the septic that can happen when the wounds are treated, when there is surgery taking place. So they were knowing the herbs, how to prevent the septic, or how to prevent the what are the antibacterials in the form of herbs that can be used to prevent infections in the open wounds. Even dentistry was it was in the Indus Valley civilization. This board drills were found, which were used to go deep into the tooth to cure the tooth disorders. आजकल जैसे जाते हैं तो डेंटिस्ट के पास वो एक ड्रिलिंग करते हैं ना, इस तरह की ड्रिलिंग मशीन्स वर अवेलेबल विद द एंशिएंट साइंटिस्ट. और ये हमें इंडस वैली की खुदाई के टाइम पे इस तरह के प्रूफ्स हमें एविडेंसेस की फॉर्म में मिले हैं. सो नॉट ओनली ह्यूमंस, ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ ह्यूमंस, इवन द टाइम द घोड़े का जो अशव सिम्टम्स, अशव प्राजा, these types of books are available कि how to treat the elephants, बैल और घोड़े. इन सब की एक तरह से किस तरह से उनको हॉर्सेस को ट्रीटमेंट करना है, कौन सी मेडिसिन देनी है, ये सारी चीजें इंडियन टेक्स्ट में लिखी हुई हैं. कमिंग टू इंजीनियरिंग एंड आर्किटेक्चर. So India was pioneer in the field of architecture. As we have already discussed in the Indus Valley time, we have seen the buildings, pillars, cave constructions, even the temples in the Maurya period. So they have so well structured architecture. They were knowing so many things about the architecture, how to be having more ventilated spaces, how the sound will travel. These type of architectural advancements, these were there to wonder upon. Now coming to another thing that will interest you is, even in 1780s, the iron cased rockets. Tipu Sultan fought with the British India Company in 1780s, and he fought well and defeated the Britishers. He had various used techniques, and this iron cased rockets were one of them. What he did was, he took long iron tubes, filled them with gunpowder, and bamboo poles were fastened to these, and then these were thrown like they were blown with the fire and thrown like the rockets. They flew like the rockets, and they had the range of 2 kilometers. So they were the fire will bamboos will catch the fire, and they will push the gunpowders from the iron tubes to the enemies up to 2 kilometer range. So these type of technologies, that means they have the scientific advances at that time also. They could be able to think that, so that they may not backfire, the rockets may not backfire, they may be knowing about the trajectories, the projectiles. So there were so many advances which are still unknown to us. So this type of iron cased rockets, they caused much fear in the British army and helped the Tipu Sultan won that battle. So coming to the end of this, that we know that ancient India was technologically advanced in the many fields of mathematics, medicine, physics, and many scientists, as I have already mentioned, Varamira, Aryabhatta, Nagarjuna, Chark, Sushrista, many more, they had taken, whose names are written, we know about them. They had taken the Indus Valley as a scientific hub, and other contemporary civilizations were not that close to scientific knowledge that India was having at that time. That's why India was known as Vishiv Guru at that time, and was economically and technically self-sufficient. And with this, we also can go with the vision of PM to have Viksit Bharat by 2047 and making India Vishiv Guru again, by being proud of our own culture, by being proud of our own heritage, the scientific advances we are having, and thinking again that our brains are more fertile than any other people of any other country. And we too, with this confidence that we too can excel in everything we can think of, we will becoming making India Vishiv Guru once again. Let's feel proud of our culture and heritage. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such an informative talk. Yes, students, if you have any query, any questions, you can write on the chat box as well as you can ask. मैम टॉक सच में बहुत इंफॉर्मेटिव था, हमारे लिए इतना ज्यादा इंफॉर्मेटिव था। हाँ, हमने सुना था पहले से कि बहुत सारी चीजें दे आर डिस्कवर्ड इन द इंडिया ओनली, मतलब इंडियन ही ओरिजिन है उनका, बट आपकी टॉक में सब इतना कलेक्टिव था, सब इकट्ठे से था कि आई एम ऑल्सो वेरी सरप्राइज। इट्स रियली वेरी वंडरफुल टॉक मैम।
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
ma'am, she's absolutely right. Ma'am, one more thing I would like to know, like you mentioned the example of Konark Temple and the Qutub Minar. So there is a iron pillar, okay, and there is no rusting on the iron pillar. Ma'am, why it is so, matlab ki why the students are not able, I mean, that the scientists are not able to find out
These days,
which metal it is basically.
actually this is iron only, but there is some, actually they were knowing that certain alloys, they are rust proof. So it is found that some phosphorus is there in the iron. Actually, how can we find out that what it is made up of? Either we cut up a piece of it and do the analysis. That is not possible. But firstly, it was suggested that there must be some oxide coatings, nanomaterial coatings, nano oxide coatings over this, which make it rust proof. And phosphorus is also found in this. Phosphorus content is there, so that made it iron phosphorus combination in a way that make it rust free. Phosphorus oxides are there in this iron.
Ma'am, I still remember when I was attending a refresher course, it was told that it is made up of some nano material is.
Actually, still it's not that much you can say with confidence what it could be.
Yes, ma'am.
This proved that there are certain nano coatings, you can say nano oxides, but phosphorus being found in this, so we could say there can be some phosphorus nano oxides also, which prevented its rusting.
Right, ma'am. Yes. Any question? Any other? I
Ma'am, it
think
was really a very wonderful lecture, I must
हाँ
say
तो
that.
बच्चों को समझ नहीं आया या सो गए
नो नो
या
नहीं
मैम,
नहीं
नींद
मैम,
में
इट्स
आ
सो
गया।
वंडरफुल
कोई नहीं
मैम
मैम.
की नहीं मैम, वो सच में इतना इंफॉर्मेटिव था कि बच्चों को सारा समझ आ गया, एंड सारा इट्स लाइक सब बेसिक से था।
हाँ
तो आई
मैम,
डोंट थिंक कि बच्चों को कुछ
मैंने
प्रॉब्लम
तो
हुआ होगा।
इसीलिए मैंने सोचा कि एक बार सबको एक्नॉलेज तो करवाएं कि हमारे पास था क्या
हाँ,
क्या।
जी
ऑल्दो मैं
जी
बहुत
मैम।
सारा कुछ इंक्लूड नहीं भी कर पाई, तो बट फिर भी मैंने ट्राई किया कि एक बार छोटी छोटी झलक तो हर चीज की दी जाए, क्योंकि अगर एडवांस में कहीं करना हो तो फिर हम डिटेल्स में एक ही चीज पे जा सकते हैं आगे।
yes
Ma'am, all
ma'am,
this makes
Punita
us
ma'am
feel
wants
very
to
very
say
proud
something.
that
यस यस
हमें पता नहीं है इतनी सारी चीजों के बारे में जो हमने इनफैक्ट वर्ल्ड को दी है, लेकिन हमें खुद ही नहीं पता है उनके बारे में. इनफैक्ट
यस
अभी आई लास्ट थोड़े टाइम पहले आई वाज रीडिंग on the Manchester University website only that they have acknowledged that Newton's discoveries were earlier being done in Kerala school. So
अनुराधा,
even before Newton's
पुनीता मैम
birth.
को अनम्यूट करो, वो हो नहीं
जी
पा रही, आई डोंट नो
जी
व्हाई।
मैम, मैंने अभी असेस दिया है मैम उनको।
पता नहीं मैम, मैं भी ट्राई कर रही हूँ बट शी इज नॉट।
आई
मैम
एम
ने
ट्राइंग अगेन मैम। हाँ, मैंने अभी असेस दिया था मैम उनको।
क्या प्रीति आप कर पा रहे हैं अनम्यूट पुनीता मैम को? शी वांट्स
भी
टू
ट्राई
आस्क।
करती हूँ एक बार. I can.
हाँ पता नहीं, मैं नहीं कर पा रही हूँ।
नहीं, इसमें ऑप्शन नहीं आ रहा कुछ
मैम
अनम्यूट.
मेरे में आ रहा है आस्क टू अनम्यूट, मैं उस पे भी क्लिक कर रही हूँ बट हो नहीं पा रहा मैम।
है ना, हो नहीं रहा।
जी जी जी।
पुनीता मैम, कैन यू ड्रॉप योर मैसेज? आई डोंट नो व्हाई इट इज नॉट हैपनिंग, वी ऑल आर ट्राइंग।
मैम
आस्क, आई थिंक
मैम
यू
मैं
हैव टू।
मैं पुनीता मैम को होस्ट बना देती हूँ सो दैट मैम कैन
नहीं 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 नहीं
इंटरैक्ट।
नहीं नहीं नहीं, डोंट डोंट। पुनीता मैम, अच्छा आपने होस्ट बना दिया। पुनीता मैम, कैन यू डू नाउ? मुझे लग रहा है उन्होंने ही अपने आप को वो कर रखा है, अनम्यूट, मतलब ये म्यूट कर रखा है।
यस मैम, कुछ ऐसा है, हाँ जी।
यस क्वेश्चन गर्ल्स, पुनीता मैम का मैसेज आया, नो आई डिडंट मैम, नाउ यू हैव बीन मेड होस्ट। यू कांट
Ma'am, I
एडवांस।
would suggest that you leave the meeting and join